Good morning, May 23rd. May 23rd. Every time I see that number 23, I think of Michael Jordan. And the more I learn about Michael Jordan, the more I realize that dude was a beast. Not just on the basketball court, it's his mindset. There's a mindset I'm shooting for. Somebody like Michael Jordan. Nothing stops him. Doesn't matter. His work ethic was amazing. He's making that movie Looney Tunes, the cartoon. Remember that? When he was the basketball player in the cartoon show. He wanted to get back into basketball, so they built him a basketball court on the set of that movie so he could get back into basketball shape because he played baseball for a minute, which is awesome. He went and did something way out of his comfort zone. We're going to talk about that this morning too, is putting yourself in positions for possible failure, because anytime you fail, you grow. Putting yourself under pressure, you grow. You got to get friction. Friction makes you tougher. And then he comes back and wins some more freaking NBA championships. Dude's a beast. It was his work ethic, his mindset. He was a cleaner. Nothing stopped the guy. Anyway, that's what May 23rd just made me think about. Michael Jordan. Love that guy. Love that mindset. Stuff I'm shooting for. People I've been listening to and watching and trying to emulate in my life are people like Michael Jordan, David Goggins, Kyle, the guy that wrote the book Relentless, Gary Vee, Sean Cannell, Paul Washer, John MacArthur. People I want to be like in life. So good morning. How's everybody? Eugene, good morning. I just got yelled at by the joke community because I didn't claim my apartment in time. Whoops. Yeah, it's amazing. Did you know that early retirement before the age of 62 has been associated with a higher mortality risk in some instances? A study of Shell Oil employees found that those who retired at 55 and lived to be 65 died 37% sooner than those that retire at 65. And in general, people who retire at 55 are 89% more likely to die within 10 years than those that retire at 65. Social Security has noticed this trend. Men that retire at 62 have a 20% higher likelihood of death than the general population. However, retiring early for women causes no increase in mortality rates. Crazy, huh? One study looked at a group who retired at 65 and found that lower status workers were more likely to die within 3 years of retirement. Higher status workers lasted longer, averaging 4 to 5 years after retirement. Not surprisingly, a larger percent of those who retire at 65 are college educated than those who retire at 62. Generally, studies have found that lower the income and educational level, the higher the retiree's mortality rate. This difference can be attributed to leisure time activities after retirement and access to health care. Those that found their identity through work will naturally find it hard to adapt after retirement. Individuals may feel lost, unsure of who they are or what they should do to spend their time. This feeling leads to inactivity, increasing alcohol consumption, and depression. Insane. Why do I talk about that today? Because on this channel, we talk about life. We talk about what you're doing with your life. Are you living for today? I was watching this. Have you heard of the Barkley Marathon? It's in Tennessee somewhere in the mountains of Tennessee. It's been going on for a few years now, quite a few years. It's a 100-mile race in the mountains of Tennessee. Only 13 people have ever finished it in over, I think, last 20 years or something like that. Only 13 people in 20 years have finished this race. And it's a 20-mile loop through the mountains. You end up actually going through a tunnel underneath a prison. And it all started and stemmed from that. The guy that assassinated Martin Luther King, he escaped from prison and he was gone for 5 days. And when they found him, he was only 8 miles away in the hills of Tennessee. And it started out as a joke, like 8 miles, that's all as far, Tennessee mountains got him. And And then the joke started, oh, I could have done 100 out in those mountains by this guy. And then so they started this race, right? Not in a tribute, but to make fun of the dude and that. Dang it, I can't watch it live, but I'll catch up later. Have a great day, brother. Sorry if I'm late. Morning, Mo. Morning, Jen Ray. So they start this race. 5 loops. You go 2 clockwise, and it takes anywhere from 7 to 13 hours to finish 1 loop through these mountains. Once you finish a loop, you go again. And then the next 2 loops, 3 and 4, you go backwards. You have to go counterclockwise. And then on the 5th and final loop, the test of might, you get to choose clockwise or counterclockwise. Most people, they call it the fun run. And I think 10% of the people barely make it through loop 3. Most people quit the next day after the first loop. They're like, nope, can't handle it. Didn't really even understand what I was getting into. Just mind-boggling, right? And there's this guy that's on there last night, and I'm watching it. If you go to Prime, Amazon Prime, you can rent a movie called The Barkley Marathon. And this guy's running this race. He ends up finishing all 5 loops with like 18 minutes left to spare. It took him mentally and physically right to the edge of his ability. He said if he had to go another mile, wouldn't have made it. If it was at like right the almost precise time of his last little bit of everything he had. You could see by the time these guys are on loop 3 and 4, they're in another world. They're in a different zone. Their legs and arms look like a picture out of Passion of the Christ, right? Where Jesus is getting whipped, and that's what because there's all these bushes they got to go through with thorns and steep hills it's an insane race. Check out that documentary. But the guy that did that won, they're interviewing him all. It's a documentary, and they're interviewing this guy, and he's like, and they're like, why are you doing this? What's the deal? I mean, to go out and do something like this is insane, right? You're doing it because you want to battle yourself. You're not in a race with anybody. Just like in life, you're not in a race with anybody in life but yourself. And you succumb to your own weaknesses. And so when you look in the mirror at the end of each day and know you quit, it's because you quit. Because you decided you weren't strong enough and didn't dare to be uncomfortable. But these guys, they're going out to put these guys that are winning these races or even putting themselves in it are usually successful people, college grads, very smart degrees that these guys are in. And when these people set goals, they achieve these goals. Nothing really can stop these people. So they enter these type of races to finally put themselves in a position of like, okay, I can really fail at this, because that's where strength comes from, is failure and putting yourself under pressure and having friction in your life to callous your mind. And they're interviewing this guy, and he's reminiscing over his life, and they're like, why'd you do this? And he's like, well, over this last year, I had a lot of deaths in our family. All this stuff happened in 1 year. I was in this relationship with this lady for 10 years, and it ended that year at the same. Was, a bunch of life happened to the guy. Nothing out of the ordinary. Life happens. But his dad died. And this is what got me when I was listening to it. He's like, and then my dad died. And this is kind of what got him into this race. He's like, my dad just died. He saved up all this money, saved up a ton of money his whole life, so that when he retired, his mom, right, and dad could travel the world. The American dream. I'm retired now. I'm going to go see stuff. Finally, when I'm old. And he's like, my dad saved up all this money to go travel the world with my mom. And he died 1 year before he retired. And he's like, and that was it. That was the last straw. He goes, you know what? You have to soak up every bit of life out of every single day in life right now, because tomorrow's not promised. So I could get hit by a bus tomorrow. And he goes, I'm out here just because I want to put myself and test my might. I want to live for today. And I'm not going to wait for retirement to finally enjoy life. Boy, did that hit home for me. I felt that like crazy. So if you get a chance, check out the Barkley Marathon race. Yesterday, I put Felice and I to the test. I don't know if you saw my daily vlog yet. It drops on, I think Jackie's stuck in the bedroom. Will you grab her? Good morning, Crystal. Good morning, Light and Fluffy. Let me say hello to everybody. Morning, Mo. Brandon B, what's up, man? You're gonna have to come on the show and say hello one of these days. Give us a huge update on you. It's been a minute. Yes, that's where the strength comes from. Yes. He knows what I'm talking about. I've been following Brandon's journey for, what's it been, like 2 years now, bro? I've been watching him posting these videos, going from a thicker dude to all of a sudden fit, running a little company, buying trucks, and every time I come across one of your videos, bro, just like true inspiration. Kendall, how are you? Love you, buddy. Be a champion today. Yep. Love you. So I'm on day 43 of this challenge right today. It's tough. The thing that's been tough about this is to stick to my goals, stick to my plans, obviously. If you could like just erase everything else you got to do and just focus on this, it'd be super easy. But, you know, we still got a nonprofit to run. Flea still has to go to work. So we had some things this weekend. Friday, we had a busy day. Thursday night, we had an event out in Ogden, a long event. So Thursday to Sunday, super busy with all this other stuff, events, service projects, and keeping up with this challenge. And so Sunday, we rolled out of bed. We do our usual. I got in here live, barely made it through. I don't even remember what I said. And then we went to a mountain bike up on this hill, Fruity Loops. And we did, I did a couple miles. Just like one loop is like 1.5 miles if you want to. Just a fun little area. You can just play on the bikes and sit in the parking lot and stuff. Beautiful day. I got a couple miles in and I was just, I'm done. I'm tired. We load up, we go eat, get home. And the whole day, those Sundays where you're just tired and you're like, man, that couch is going to be my best friend the rest of this day. It was one of those days for me. I could have sat on the couch. Millie, take your dog out. Millie, take your dog out right now. I could have sat on the couch all day, literally, and I'd have been just fine, just chilling, watching TV. I could have binge watched all kinds of shows on Sunday. And I was like, you know what? After watching and listening to all these books that I've been reading on what makes these high achievers is just showing up and pushing themselves. There's really nothing special about anybody like Elon Musk. He's a freak, right? Because he's just super genius. You got these math people that can just do digits in their head, and they're born that way, right? These super people that are born. But there's very, very, very few of those people. A lot of the high achievers and successful people you see in life have mastered control over their mind. They're just like you and me. There's no difference between them and us, except they've decided and made a decision to train their mind and callous their mind and take control of their life through that. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just average Joe. I was born in a very poor family, raised in I grew up in a trailer park living with my grandma. Through my whole story is me by myself, basically, because my dad, he was and still is in his own world of just the victim. The victim game has just completely consumed him his whole life. When we talk about that, I'm the biggest victim. That was not long enough. Okay. And I'm like, I don't want to be like that. I want to be like these people. And so yesterday we get up, do our thing, come home, take a nap. And I'm like, well, I could just lay around all day. I could take the easy way out and just do something half-assed to say that I did something. Oh, I checked the box, right? It's more than checking the box. It's me against me right now. And so Felice and I just got on it. We went to the garage, pulled our bikes down, and just left the house. We shot south 10 miles, headed west about 2 miles, and then started making our way back up through town on the other side of town. We ended up riding 20 miles on our bikes yesterday. When I felt like that, when my body was telling me, no, to prove to myself that I have control over this. And the thing is when you get out there and finally just start pushing yourself, it doesn't take long for the zone to come. As soon as we started pedaling, within 10 minutes, that lazy feeling, that sluggish, sit on the couch all day emotion and tiredness left. It was gone. We were 10 miles in and enjoying it. Man, it was a beautiful day. There was a storm rolling in. So on the way south, we had this awesome backwind. Man, it felt like we were riding electric bikes. Just we end up down this river trail, and then we had to come back north. And we faced a headwind. And that was the challenging part of yesterday. The last 10 miles in a headwind to where you're riding your bike at an angle, like leaning into this wind. And all of a sudden it felt like you were riding uphill, which I was grateful for because I've been monitoring my heart rate for the last year and a half in the workouts that I've been doing. And I've been doing a lot of high intensity interval training, which means you spike your heart rate, rest. And then during the day, my heart rate's just at a nice resting pace. So there's this other zone I want to try to keep my heart rate at. 120 to 130 is the magic number because I usually have it spiked in the 150s plus. And I want to train in that zone. It's a good healthy zone. It's a good fat burn zone. It's a good autopilot zone. And the reason I'm training for this stuff is because I'm going to do some triathlons next year. Maybe at the end of this year. I don't know yet. I definitely want to run, bike, and swim in some small event. Just small. I'm not looking to win it either. I'm looking to just do it because why? I've never done it. And I know if I do it, it's something that's healthy for me. Callous my mind, callous my body. That's my goal, man. People are retiring and dying. I remember the first time that hit me. Somebody retired and then died. I would look up to this guy on base. He was the big boss, the head honcho, the number one guy of all the contractors on base. So on base, you got your active duty guys who mostly stay to themselves in their job, but every once in a while they work with you. Then you got a civilian crew. We're working on aircraft, jets, right? Fighter pilot or fighter aircraft weapon systems. And then you got these contractors that are contracted to come in and work as well. They do the same type of jobs as the civilians do, but we're just under, they're under contract, we're under civilian, and then you got active. And he was the big boss over that. And I was just like, wow, man. And I heard how much money he made, and cool dude, way cool guy. And you always hear that, right? When you're on the civilian side, oh, they pay way more on the contracting side, which they did. We had a lot but cooler benefits than they did. So it was sixes, but you could switch over to contracting and shoot for this guy's job. That was a possibility. Looking at all these options in life on base, like what ladders to climb, which way you want to go. Taking his job crossed my mind as like a path I could choose to try to maybe go down. A buddy of mine was on that path. And then the guy retired and died within a week or two of his retirement. And it was weird. And the reason it stuck out in my mind is because we went out to breakfast one morning after he had retired. He just barely had retired. Me and the family went out to breakfast down here at a diner called Moore's. And there he is in the corner sitting there eating breakfast. And I looked at him. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Right on. And not much more was said. How you doing? We had our breakfast and I was told Felicia, yeah, that's the big boss guy. Week and a half later, he's dead. He's dead. He did all that to retire. And I don't know what his life was. He may have enjoyed the hell out of his life. He may have, that may have been the happiest pathway of his life. And if that is the case, awesome. But I always evaluate my life. Am I doing today what I'm happy with? Drugs and alcohol have no part in that. Zero. That does nothing but bring destruction, chaos, misery, death. Morning, Corey. Good to see you, man. Good to see you, man. And so I'm not sitting there. This is just me thinking about what I do. If you're happy doing what you do, I'm happy for you. I'm not judging at all. That's something to think about. What do we do? What do we do with our time? That's another thing I noticed yesterday when I was listening to my books and riding my bike for 20 miles. Was how much time we waste. Pull up your screen time. Go to your settings. Pull up your screen time and see how much time you actually spend on certain apps. And then see if there's anything productive on those times, on that time spent on those apps. And then do the math. Divide that up throughout the whole year and see how much time you actually spend on these apps. I did the math wrong in my daily vlog. If you caught that, good on you. If you didn't, oh well. It was actually because I spend 25 minutes, according to my phone, I spend 25 minutes a day. So you go to your phone, if you have an iPhone, settings, bam, it's right there, screen time. And you can look at your activity, your daily averages. You can look at your downtime, your app limits. You can set limits and stuff on these things. So there's ways to, like, if you don't want to spend more than 10, 15 minutes a day on Facebook or whatever it is, you can limit that time, which is a positive tool, by the way. So apps. And I noticed I spent 25 minutes on average a day on Facebook. And I was like, whoa, really? So I did all the math, and it turns out the real math is that it's like 3 full 24-hour periods over a whole year's span. 3 days. You know what I can do in 3 days? You know? So that got me to thinking of, like, how do we map this out? Because remember we talked about measuring. This next weekend, I'm going to measure all my body parts, chest, waist, arms again, because you got to measure. You don't know how well you're succeeding if you don't have a tool that tells you what, something to measure it against. Like, I succeeded. How do you know? Because you just feel like you did, or did you go 1 mile further? Did you do 1 or 2 extra push-ups? What's your scale of measurement there? And so if we actually don't take this on as a challenge this week. What's the name of that app? It's on your phone in your settings, bro. Somewhere. And if you have an Android, don't ask me, because I'm an iPhone guy. Don't know. I'm sure it's in there. They're all pretty much freaking the same anyway. Just go into your settings. Google how to find your screen time. It should be in your settings somewhere. It'll tell you It'll tell you how much time you spend on every app. It'll tell you exactly what you do it'll tell you what apps you click first. Like when you pick up your phone, it registers. Your phone knows it's just been picked up. And then it's going to log and document what app you go to first every time. The most. And then it's going to put them in order for what apps you check after first picking up the phone, no matter what time of day it is. It's going to tell you everything. It's measuring you. This is already measuring you. It may not be measuring yourself, but your phone is. So take this week as a challenge to concentrate on every hour of every day, and don't change anything. Don't put pressure on yourself to try to change nothing right now, because you don't even know. How are you going to change what you don't know? It's like I said yesterday, when, like, if you want to do a 5K, but you're like, well, I need to prepare first. I need to make sure I got the proper shoes. I need to learn everything about the weather and science and diet and how much water I need to take and if I need salt pills during this experience. Just go enter one and run it. And you're going to go, oh, that's what it is. Experience it. And then you're going to know, you're going to have a baseline measurement of what you need to do to succeed. So measure this week. Concentrate. At least get a good view of it. What did I do this morning? I woke up at 7 or whatever time you woke up. And from this time to this time, I was doing what? Don't judge yourself. Don't be like, well, I have to do this, because just don't judge yourself. Just look at it. All I'm saying is just look at it. And then from 8 to 9, what did you do? From 9 to 10, what did you do? From 10 to 11, what did you do? For reals at work. You may get to work, log in on your computer, catch up on some emails. It's Monday, so maybe you'll be engaged a little longer than normal. But then what? Get up and go to the bathroom. What'd you do? 3 o'clock rolls around. What do you do? When you get off work, what do you do? At nighttime, what do you do? What do you do right before you go to bed? Just lay it out. Get a good picture of your day. And then you'll be able to know where you need to make changes. Just check it out. You want to better your life? You're watching this channel because we're about recovery. We're about getting off of drugs and alcohol. We're about what it is to stay clean and get support and work the 12 steps and just continue to keep bettering our lives. When you're watching this channel, and if you've been following me for 2 years, this channel is going to continually evolve. It's not going to be the same channel in 2 more years that it is right now. This channel is not the same right now as it was when it first started, because I'm going to continually be pushing myself to grow and learn and use these tools and these types of measurements to make changes that are going to benefit mine, Felice's, and the family's life for positive enjoyment. You know what I mean? What up, Big Willie? How you doing, brother? Shameless plug for the Other Side of Hell podcast. Presented to you and brought to you by Willie and Cameron. So measure. Do that stuff. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. We're about to look at our 30-day challengers. See what these people are up to. How's it going? Talking about measuring yourself, Willie, if you just joined us. Talking about measuring each minute you spend during the day and what you're doing with that day. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. All right, there's our main chat. Let's jump up to our 30-day challenge. Ziggy. Keep chatting, Ziggy. Doing good. So yesterday he did his gratitude. Oh, looks like he's smashing some golf balls. That's a good workout. Very nice. Very nice. And he's reading his book. Good job. Fire. Savage Freedom. Leveling up. Very cool. Fall in love with the process and the results will come. So true. All you gotta do is just start doing it. What did I even name this? The little progress each day. And that's why I say measure and then start to change those little things. Little steps. And pushing yourself. If you want to work out and you start working on your chest today, you do 5 push-ups. Tomorrow you do 6. The next day you do 7. And then start to find your limits. And then push those limits a little more every time. Intention behind every rep. Yeah. Don't just aimlessly pursue these goals, pursue the rep with bad form, right? If you put intention behind every rep, think about that. If you just grab the weight, let's take the bench press. Working out's just so much easier to talk about than to break down any other type of example, right? So you lay down, you grab the bench press, and you just go like this. You're not hitting your chest. You're not, completely extending. You're just like, oh, and then you rack it. I did. How many did you do? I don't know. Well, it ain't going to get you nowhere. If you intentionally plant your feet, put your butt shoulders where they're supposed to be, you grab that bar at a good angle of width that you feel like you need for your chest, and you put that thing up and you focus on your mind, that rep comes down and you're concentrating on where your arms are at. Are they level? What muscles and how are the muscles engaged across the chest? It comes to the bottom. You refocus and you drive and you're starting to understand how it squeezes together as you hit the top and you put a little extra squeeze in there. You do that for every rep and you do that for everything you do in life. And that's why I say go back through your day, measure it. 25 minutes a day on Facebook is 3 full days a year wasted. Pay attention to every rep, pay attention to every day, and then just start looking at every hour. You don't know until you know. You don't know, now you know. Geesh. Oh, snap. I love it when we got little videos. Oh, look at the no hands. That dude's getting confident. Oh, I'm not scared. Ah! Okay, I'm back on it. It's hard. If he's like looking through his phone, that's not easy to do. Good job, buddy. Blue skies, headphones, Spotify, the curiosity of my kids. That's a great thing to be grateful for. Excitement over the little things. A hammock. Heck yeah. Look at that. This dude's getting out and living it. That's awesome. Very cool, Geesh. Proud of you, man. Jen Ray, reading her book, out on her walks. Grateful. Meeting new people. Very cool. Renee, what you up to? Oh, back out there with that crazy bird. Look at that thing. I told you it was crazy. Look at its eyes. That bird's crazy. And now it's gone. This is who I saw on my walk today. Grateful that my life is simple, calm, and chaos-free. Grateful that I am surrounded by good people. Grateful to have it. See, and that was something somebody pointed out to me. Like when people were first doing this, if we go back to like the very beginning, because we have this whole challenge documented, right? Each person, you go back to the very beginning, and the gratitude starts off with just being clean, boyfriend, job, parent. 23 days in now, challenge is getting close to over, and these gratitude start to become sentences My emotions are not fake. My feelings are not caused by drugs or lack of drugs, just my natural emotions. That's a gratitude list. Turn from just simple words, which are good, which are fine, but you see the growth just in that alone. There's the book, there's the walk, there's, man, right? Look at just all sentences. And grateful for everyone, like that, just like an emphasis to the gratefulness. That's what I'm talking about. Grow. And you don't know until you put your time into it, until you put pressure on yourself. Friction in life causes the calluses we need to be strong. Put yourself in a position to be calloused. A lot of people won't even go this far. I'm not entering a challenge. I'm not getting out of my comfort zone. I'm not putting myself in a position where there's possible failure. Putting yourself in those positions where there is possible failure is where you grow. That's the pressure. That's the friction. Limitless Happiness doesn't have a white thing on her thing. Yesterday, she's got one post. Oh, there we go. She's good. No, she's good. Still going to post, I guess, until I can't anymore. 45-minute walk around the neighborhood this morning. Gosh darn it, I forgot to post my reading yesterday. I guess that takes me out of the running. All right, keep posting. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. So Willie says, this rep is for my family. This rep is for God. This rep is for gratitude. This rep is for forgiveness. Meaning behind every. Ooh. He's doubling it up with mind reps too. That is cool. Willie, man, you always put some cool stuff together, bro. Focus on mind and body, he says in every rep. Don't just focus on your body, focus on your mind. And let that stuff extend. That's habit stacking. We talk about habit stacking, right? If you're going to brush your teeth in the morning, you could set up a little podcast. You're watching the podcast. Two things. You're getting educated and you're, doubling up. That's a little bit of habit stacking right there. Press a prodigy. I'm proud of you, LT. Keep up the great work, brother. Neil. Oh, thanks, brother. Thank you. We're on here trying to better our lives. We're trying to get out of our comfort zones and quit being lame and weak. Put ourselves under the pressure and callous in our mind. Callous your mind by putting yourself in positions of failure. There's another thing about that is people will get to become successful in life through whatever path they've traveled. They go to college, they do whatever, right? They get to a position at work and they claim that identity. Look at me. And I like to use the base as an example because I lived that experience and I've seen this a lot. You get to the GS12, 13 and higher range, where you're rubbing elbows with majors and, every once in a while a general. And if the state walks through with a representative, a senator, you rub a little elbows with them. So you feel like you're climbing somewhere. People in those positions don't ever dare to experience anything else to expand their mind. That's all they know, and that's all they're comfortable with knowing, because if they jump in to become the new guy again, and that's what I talk about pressure too, is put yourself in a position where you're the new person that doesn't know nothing and you feel dumb and there's a chance of failure. But a lot of people don't like that uncomfortable feeling. They don't like being the new person that doesn't know. But that's as far as they'll ever grow. That's as far as they'll ever be in life. So we started out with the statistic of how many people die right after retirement. So today I challenge you with, if you're happy, keep rocking it. If you're not, analyze your life. We talk about inventory in the big book. A good inventory taker writes things down. They take inventory of their life. Just like if you had a shelf full of stock, you write it all down. You see what's good. You see what's bad. Do that with your life. Every hour, every minute of every day. What are you doing? Is it productive? Is it productive to glorify God? Is it productive to bring happiness and peace, to live honorably, to live in a recovery way? Is it going to help you grow? Just write it down. Take stock. Take inventory. Be a good inventory taker. And then evaluate that inventory. Get with somebody you trust and love, a sponsor, and go through it with them. So look at this. I just found this out about myself. Here's my whole day. This is what I do all day, every day. What? I didn't know that. I just wrote it down and now I'm really surprised. And let's start doing some math on it. Like the math, I like to put everything in perspective of yearly, you know? Like, what? I waste 3 full days a year on Facebook? Wow. Y'all, I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be dropping my daily vlog today. I don't even know what I'm going to do today. I know I got some work to do. I know I got my couple exercises to get, but man, this video thing is tough. He says, I printed that daily inventory sheet out yesterday. I found Nicole Monster. Yes, it's in the Discord. There is a daily inventory sheet we'd look at in the Discord. Before you go, what state are you from? I'm in Utah. Greatest state on earth. The most beautiful state in America. And if you plan on coming here, don't. Just kidding. Just kidding. We're getting invaded by Californians. And I meet them and I'm like, get out of my state. I was born and raised here. You're from California. Get out of my state. Just kidding. Just kidding. You should come visit Utah. It's beautiful. And if you happen to come through Utah, hit us up. Yeah, you're right, Willie. It is for real. You're right, Big Willie. It's for real. Get the out of my state. Anyway, y'all. God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Look at your situation in front of you today and ask, does this need to change? Can I change it? Stuck in traffic? Nope, can't change that. I could change that, but I don't want to. I'm scared to. That's why we need some courage. And then sometimes, we need that wisdom because we're trying to change crap that can't be changed. And then there's stuff that needs to be changed that we don't. It's a great prayer. Analyze that prayer. Say it a few more times today. Till tomorrow, people, do not put yourself in a high-risk situation. Stay strong, work your program, and remember, we recover better together.